particular topic. The last one I want to talk about, and actually I'm going to take you to task, Karen. Uh, so the third part of the three reasons why doctoral students struggle gathering literature is just not gathering literature from best sources. And it's as simple as this. You have a university online library system. All of you who are in a doctoral program that the university pays for. Correction. The university doesn't pay for it. You pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And your fees and everything like that. So you're paying for the use of this online university library system. And the weirdest thing I found is some of my doc students will come to me once they're stuck. And I said, well, let's go and look at how to get some topics in. And they don't know because they've never used the university library system. They were using Google Scholar. And Google Scholar, while good, I haven't used it a lot, but while good, and I think some of my articles are on there, that's why I'm not complaining. But some Google Scholar, you can't access the actual article unless you have to pay for it. So if your university is providing you volumes of research, it's probably the best thing to use. Now, I suggest three things. First, book time with your librarian, your university librarian. Trust me when I tell you, I used to bring my librarian into my first class to talk to students. They are chomping at the bit to get access to doc students. They cannot wait to get access to doc students. And they're very good at helping you break down your topic, jump-starting your search, using tools that you can to organize your search, things like that. They're expert in that university's library system, and it's their job. The second thing is learning your online library system, focusing on peer-reviewed journal articles. And then once you're reading some peer-reviewed journal articles, they also provide you a sounding board to access more literature by looking at who they're citing and then pulling those articles within the article that you're working with. And I'm not saying just take what the person said, someone else said, but actually using that to gather those articles and then pull up the other articles that will help you get through. So that is another aspect of this. And then, of course, organizing yourself. If you're going to gather and pull all these articles, and I generally, in a semester, will have my students pull 40 articles and do some stuff with it. Having an ongoing reference page in a Word document, saved in an electronic folder. In fact, saving all of your information in somebody's electronic folder. My preference is Google Drive. But however you do it, whether it's OneDrive or what have you, having a place where your information is stored, you can access it later, you can access it from different computers, you can access it via your phone whenever you need it. Being able to bring those things into play helps you out. Karen, tell us a little bit about you. What year are you in your doc program?
I'm in my second year. Well, yeah, okay. My second year. You can kind of say my
so
third.
Those are other platforms. Karen is in her second year. So I'm assuming you are accustomed to using the university library.
Well, I mean, not as much as I would like to, because of the fact that, COVID, and we don't have a chance to really go in and kind of get, so I haven't been inside my school's library.
Oh, okay.
So
definitely. And many of you are probably going through this. One of the things for those other platforms Karen mentioned is not having the access because of COVID to actually go on campus to the library and go on that system. In many ways, then we're kind of restricted to the online version of our university library. That also then makes the meeting with librarians a little more difficult, because now that's something that has to be done now online, and it doesn't have the feel that it had when I would have my university librarian come into the physical class and work with that. Or when I was a doc student, I went and sat with my librarian, who was phenomenal in helping us kind of tailor our search and get our ideas together and things like that. As being a second year doc student, what can you tell us about the importance of knowing and accessing those literature pieces?
It's important, first of all, because it allows you to have, like you mentioned before, an ongoing resource, and being able to actually locate articles that is going to be helpful to your topic or your research or whatever, your paper, whatever you're working on at the time. So I think those are the two reasons why, knowing your library, being able to access your library information and articles from your library.
All right. For those of you on those platforms, mention two reasons why this is important. The first is being able to go in and have access to your resources, have access to that research, things like that. The one thing, and I tell doc students, you don't have to know everything, but when you've chosen a topic, when you've chosen a research agenda, you are now charged with the responsibility of becoming a literature expert in those topics. The only way to do that is to actually do the immersing yourself in this topic, the note-taking, the understanding of the lineage of this research on this topic, being able to call those seminal authors into play at any point in time, and then knowing what's new in the research. So part of becoming that literature expert is having to become new and knowing what's on the horizon of this work. And the best way to do it is to be well read. There is no escaping that. And the problem that we find in that is that, and I'll be totally candid with you, the reading process is boring. It just is. Given that, you have to master the boredom. Very few people who have been great in anything have learned to master the boring parts of life. And it says, because as you begin to master that, something goes on in your brain. You begin to understand the process, and the process becomes innate. The reason why you can walk around the house at night with the lights off and still not kick things is because you have mentally learned where things are. And you have a mental map of that. And that's what happens when you're constantly repeating the process of doing the research, doing the reading. You begin to understand these processes better, and your mind automatically takes you there, as opposed to bumping into things and not understanding stuff. You begin to you work that muscle out, and it becomes something you can do automatic. And you'll realize one day, particularly you, Karen, as you dive deeper into your research, that you're going to become a literature specialist in this, and then there's not going to be much that becomes a hindrance when you become a researcher and you take part in that process, because it's going to be easier for you to move through, easier for you to access information, and you'll be able to recall all of the greats ad nauseum. As soon as asked, you'll know that research, and you can't write about something you don't know. that's the plain point of it all. You cannot write about something that you do not know. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to begin to close out. Once again, I am Dr. Derek Robinson, and this is the Doctoral Journey with Derek. Shout out once again to myadvantage.org, thebougieshootery.com, thedonedissertation.com, firstgenfly.com. Once again, My Advantage, we do online courses, virtual coaching, and we also do organizational consulting for both schools and the world of management and public sector for business. With that said, thank you, Karen, for joining me. I appreciate the time here that you've spent with us. Great having you here. You're welcome on this show anytime. I want to put it to where we'll be able to access you, not just here on IG, but also on the other platforms. So we'll figure that out. I'm new to StreamYard. This is my first night using it. I tried last week. It didn't work. I'm getting it right now. So, but anytime you want to come on, this is a welcome platform for you. All right?
No problem.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes everything. We will see you next week. Take care. You'll have access to these clips very soon, hopefully on YouTube tomorrow. But I'll see you there, and enjoy your evening. Bye now.